from people I've talked to who work for teams in the league, it corroborates what has been out there, that you need to hit 70 games to get the local TV money. And so I'm sure that the NBA will figure out a way to get to 70 regular season games. Is it important to actually play those games? Look, when you strip it all away, Molly, what's essential? The most essential thing is that people survive, right? So that's why we do all these things. In terms of sports, what's the most essential thing for the NBA as far as the fans are concerned? You want to crown a champion for the season. You got to play those playoff games. Are fans essential? More essential than I thought they were. It seems sort of ridiculous to play in empty gyms, but when you strip it all down, no, you can play the games without the fans. It is theoretically possible. Must you play the regular season games to get to the playoff? No. You can ramp up with enough time to get guys in basketball shape, scrimmaging in gyms and quarantining and stuff like that. But when you add the huge amounts of money on the line for the league, if local TV deals don't have to pay out, then that unites everybody. That unites the league, the Players Association, the teams, everyone. They're all going to want to get their money. So I suspect we get those games. And Molly, as a basketball fan, I'm an NBA junkie. I'll take it how I can get it. I prefer it to be as regular as possible. But if it has to be delayed, if it has to be shortened, if it has to be in empty gyms, I'll take it.
Well, listen, we don't need to bring up money when it comes to, the need for regular season games. That's obvious right there. We understand that. But in terms of what quality level of basketball we want to see, assuming the games resume and there is a playoff, it would be nice to see a few regular season games, like Magic Johnson stated, a couple of weeks of basketball for guys to get in shape and find some semblance of a rhythm. As you would say, Max, when it comes to Tom Brady, or as I religiously state with everything else, no excuses. No excuses. You don't want anybody to sit up there and say, well, you know what, we had this break, and then we came back, went right into the postseason, and we just didn't have it. We were preoccupied, anxiety-wise. We were preoccupied in terms of spending time with our family, couldn't get in the shape that we wanted to get in. Everybody doesn't have a damn gymnasium like LeBron James purportedly has in his own home or whatever. Some of us don't have it like that. So as a result, the level of conditioning might have been compromised. You don't want all of these potential excuses to rear their ugly heads. So if you can find a way to have a couple of weeks of a season, regular season left, where you could play 5 to 10 games to really get your feet up under you and get going before the playoffs begin, that would definitely be ideal. And that's what the NBA, I believe, is shooting for. That's what they're hell-bent on capturing, if at all possible.
Yeah, and by the way, as a fan, that's ideal, Stephen A., but there will be excuses this year no matter what. Fans of different teams who don't win key matchups, they'll make excuses. This was for all of a sudden this length break in a season where you might bring up, hey, load managing. What did all that load managing do for Kawhi in the end, right? Or maybe when LeBron put his pedal to the metal, but then he got a nice rest. Or you might say LeBron was in rhythm. As Magic did, the Lakers were in rhythm, and their rhythm got broken right as they seemed to be gearing up, ramping up for the playoffs. There are going to be excuses, but I understand the point. Let's limit them. From my point of view as a fan, Stephen A., it really comes down to just people. What if it goes into the summer? What if it goes past the summer? I don't care. I can't watch basketball and football? The best times of year are October and different months where you get everything at once. I would love to see them figure out a way, by hook or by crook, to play these games, as many as possible. More NBA is better.
All right. Excuse me, Max, because right now we have the Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas joining us. Isiah, great to have you with us. We want you to join this discussion. Where are you on this? How pertinent is it that the NBA finishes out this season?
I think it's important not only for sports in general, but I would love to see them finish out the season. For everybody's, I guess, just feel good if it happens societal wise. And also, I think when you look back in terms of how we're going to historically judge this season, I think it's important for the record books also.
Isiah, let me ask you this question, man. When the season obviously was brought to a halt, who did you view as the best team in basketball based on what you were seeing at that particular moment in time?
You know, I listened to Magic Johnson earlier on the show, and I would have to agree with where he was going with in terms of where the way the Lakers were playing at that period of time before things stopped. I thought that the Lakers were the best team playing at that point in time. Now, could they sustain that for 2 more months? That level of play was the thing that would remain for us to see. However, I think when you look at the Lakers and Milwaukee, those were the 2 best teams playing at that particular time. But we do know playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. So I would have to say that Kawhi, Doc Rivers, and the Clippers were going to play different in the playoffs than they play in the regular season.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.